Edward Timpson.
Thank you very much, Madam Deputy Speaker, for allowing me to make what is, in essence, my second maiden speech, or maiden speech 2.0, to coin a modern phrase, and for the indulgence of the Chair in according a freer-than-usual range. And having been asked by the great British public to find my happiness elsewhere for the last 2.5 years, I'm delighted and grateful to be given the opportunity by the good people of Eddisbury to have another go. I would also like to acknowledge the contribution that my predecessor, Antoinette Sambach, made during her own tenure in Eddisbury. As I discovered during the recent election, Antoinette is a passionate and committed campaigner, no more so than when speaking up on issues close to her heart. In particular, members will recall her moving and powerful pleas to improve services for those who suffer baby loss. So, whilst our respective political paths may have diverged, I want to take this opportunity to thank Antoinette for her service and wish her and her family well for the future. My return to Parliament at this election has been rather less dramatic than my initial entry and exit. During the 2008 by-election, Fleet Street decamped to Crewe and Nantwich to dissect what became a national test for both Gordon Brown and David Cameron. And in the end, Labour's class war campaign was roundly rejected. And within days, I found myself, Madam Deputy Speaker, at Westminster in the Opposition Chief Whip's office being inducted by Patrick, now Lord McLaughlin. The only other person present in the room was the then member for Henley, now Prime Minister, who was there to head off to the Chiltern Hundreds, himself having been recently elected as Mayor of London. Little did we both know that just over a decade later, we would be back on the same benches, both representing new constituencies, with majorities the polar opposite of the ones we had when we first met. Losing my seat in 2017 by all of 48 votes after 3 recounts was also a far from benign experience, and not one I'm looking to repeat. Whilst formatively humbling and professionally devastating, Madam Deputy Speaker, it did enable me to enjoy those precious early years together with our 4th child, Nell, as well as open up new roles for me to continue my mission to support struggling children and families, namely Chair of CAFCAS and Chair of the newly formed National Child Safeguarding Board. Eddisbury is one of those mystery seats that many people, including members of this House, would struggle to place on a map. But as someone who has lived in Eddisbury, home to me and my family, for 35 years, I'm confident that it is Britain's best-kept secret. Named after a pre-Norman conquest Shire hundred and the hill upon the sandstone ridge that runs down its spine, Eddisbury occupies the bulk of the Cheshire Plain, nestled between the Peak District to the east and the Welsh Hills to the west. It has a proud history of dairy farming that to this day is the bedrock of the local economy, the source of around 3% of the UK's dairy products, including the famous Cheshire cheese. But Eddisbury farmers have found it tough going in a climate of market volatility and uncertainty about their future. And that's why this bill and the Agriculture Bill set out in the Queen's speech are such crucial pieces of legislation. They need to recognise and maintain the high food safety, farming and animal welfare standards we have worked hard to achieve, whilst ensuring we have greater control over farm practices in Eddisbury and right across the UK. So we must use the year ahead to provide the dairy and wider agricultural industry with that longer-term clarity, support and freedom they need to invest, grow and prosper. And if we genuinely back British farming, then whether it be reducing food miles or tackling climate change, our farmers can deliver. In contrast to the patchwork of fields interrupted by the criss-crossing of canal boats is the town of Winsford. With a population of over 30,000, well situated close to the M6 and connected to the West Coast Main Line, Winsford has come a long way since the salt industry was established there along the River Weaver in the 1830s. Now a logistics and manufacturing base, Winsford has over 4,000 people employed on the Winsford Industrial Estate, including Tiger Trailers, Rolls-Royce and Compass Minerals, to name but a few. Its town centre, like many, is in dire need of renewal, and I look forward to working with the Government and Cheshire and West and Chester Council to help revitalise a much-needed commercial and community space that local residents can be proud of. Winsford is also home to some amazing charities run with the help of armies of volunteers, like the Neuromuscular Centre of Excellence, where I held my surgery last Friday, St Luke's Cheshire Hospice and Home Start Cheshire, of which I am a patron. Eddisbury boasts a scattering of resplendent villages, from Farmden, Bunbury and Tattenhall to Aldlam, Tarpley and Mulpus, not forgetting Tarvin, Waverton, Wrenbury, Acton, Barrow, Tilston, Kelsall and Church Minshall, amongst many others. They thrive through the vibrancy and activity of local people who care deeply about their community, yet can become isolated without good connectivity with the world around them, whether that be reliable and regular rural bus services, road networks in decent pothole-free condition, easy and timely access to GP services, or better, much better, broadband. Yeah. Eddisbury also has an enticing array of entertainment on offer, being home to Alton Park racetrack circuit that hosts the British Superbikes Championship, Delamere Forest, Cheshire's largest area of woodland, and where I confess, Madam Deputy Speaker, I once watched Rick Astley in concert, the majestic English heritage site of Beeston Castle, Carfest North at Bolesworth, and the Chumley Pageant of Power. So Eddisbury is no sleepy backwater, Madam Deputy Speaker, and we have plans to play our part in the North West to levelling up our nation, whether that be economically, socially and potentially even politically, with the now inevitable relocation of the House of Lords to Cheshire. You will know too, Madam Deputy Speaker, that my time in Parliament has been very much shaped by my lifelong passion and determination to improve the lives of vulnerable and disadvantaged children. And I'm reminded of the words I used during my first maiden speech to describe my motivation for speaking up for kids who need most help. Having spent the past 25 years living with and helping care for many foster children, and the past decade working in the care system, I know only too well the fundamental importance of putting children first and giving them the childhood that they deserve. Now, I see no reason to alter a single word. Indeed, my late mother, Alex, who opened up our home to over 90 foster children, instilled these virtues in me from an early age and helped guide me through my nearly 5 years as Minister for Children and Families. It was therefore encouraging to see the commitments made in the Conservative Party manifesto, not just to our farmers, but to children's social care, the creation of family hubs, the prioritisation of loving, stable homes for children who find themselves in care, and a review of our care system more generally. Although I would advise the front bench that there already exists a blueprint for delivering an excellent children's social care system entitled, you've guessed it, Madam Deputy Speaker, Putting Children First, that the Government published during my time as Children's Minister in July 2016. Since then, we've seen the number of good and outstanding children's services rise markedly, albeit from a low base, and the number of inadequate judgments fall by nearly half. However, we all know that the pressure on the system remains, and with around 400,000 of the 12 million children in England in the children's social care system at any one time, this is an area of public policy we simply can't ignore. The good news, Madam Deputy Speaker, is that the dedication, compassion and professionalism of those on the front line of social work is there for all to see. But what they need too is the freedom and support that enables them to innovate in their practice, to use their professional judgment to make good decisions on behalf of children placed under their wing, and to grow trusted relationships with families in need of their help. Policy should promote such a culture, not stifle it. Only then can we have the confidence that every one of those 400,000 children will get the right level and quality of intervention, protection, placement and planning of their future when they need it, for as long as they need it. And in doing so, we can continue to build the foundations that break down what all too often is a destructive cycle. Let's unleash every child's potential. So, Madam Deputy Speaker, in acknowledging I've strayed a little from the subject matter of this debate, I want to end by saying to all the people of Eddisbury, however you voted, and to all those children who don't have a voice but need to be heard, I'm here for you. After all, that is my duty.
Yeah.